A big hello and a warm welcome to all of you amazing and beautiful people out there to my channel, the Twin Flame Union. And I also welcome you to the part 3 of the channeling session titled as Divine Masculine Feels If He Has the Divine Feminine, Everything Will Be Alright. Though I tried to complete the channeling in the part 2 itself, but the energy was so extensive and so overwhelmingly profound that I had to take some time in between. And though I had recorded some part of it, but I had to re-record some of it more because I got some very beautiful clarity in the middle of it, so which I had to sort of understand better. So I will continue from where I'd stopped about the story of Radha, Krishna and all the other gopis who got into the union on the same day with Source. So let's get started. In this channeling, I would also be talking about the real meaning of union, which a lot of divine feminines probably they need this clarity because they have been also questioning me, some of them, that I have done everything for the union, then why am I not getting in union? And it is to tell them that you are still chasing the union. Maybe you have stopped chasing the divine masculine according to you, but you cannot trick the universe. The universe knows everything. So if you think that, okay, I'm not thinking about the divine masculine, I'm not focusing on him all the time, but I'm focusing on the union. I'm thinking about the union. When is the union happening? When will the union? Will my union happen in 3 months? Will my union happen in 1 year? What is... this actually takes you further away from union, and a lot of time is gone in that. Again, very recently I was doing a personal reading, and personal reading and public channelings are different, but I love to obviously make public channelings. But in the personal reading, you have more clarity and you have more detail, and personal reading is obviously it's not free. There is a charge for it. And there is a time frame to it, and there is a certain amount of questions, limit of questions that you can ask in that also. But I try to give as much time and as much, I like to tell them the truth basically. In some cases, the truth is also bitter, and the truth sounds like a little bit harsh also. And I always give that disclaimer that whatever will come in your reading, it will help you. Actually, that thing will help you in the union. What you're doing right now may not be helping you. But some cases, I meet very aware divine feminines who are very clear. There is a divine feminine who asked me that, how would my inner work go for the next 1 year? Because she's very determined that I want to do inner work for next 1 year or 2 years. And how is it that I can heal myself? How is it that I can heal my traumas? How is it possible that I surrender fully? I need to surrender fully. I want to do that. So her focus has shifted from union and divine masculine, and the complete focus is on herself, her personal growth and her self-development. She's no longer doing what she was doing earlier. And this takes time also for some people, and for some people it happens very fast. Sometimes it is the soul shock that leads to that. Say, for example, they see the divine masculine getting married to the karmic, living a very happy life out of nowhere. Neither did the karmic was there, when they met, they fell in love. Suddenly she came from nowhere. There were always difficulties between them. There was always some mystery between them, but there was love as well. The true union is with the source, and with the source alone, with the divine feminines. But why does this divine masculine, when I said in the part 1 also, the same person who was hating on her or pretending to hate on her, because inside his heart he still has a lot of love for her, or he was running away from her, he didn't want to have a conversation with her, he had blocked her from everywhere. He thought that she is some kind of a, evil thing, or he was so scared of rejection, that he himself, messed it around, and then later on, he could not handle that pain of fear of rejection and things like that. So both of them are rejecting certain parts of them, and when she accepts this, say, like I said, soul shock, the karmic, that's why sometimes I say it's good that there's a karmic in the scene, because then the divine feminine will definitely have to wake up fully. She would have no other option. In this journey, there are many people with whom you have signed a contract with. The karmic is one of those people. Even in case of false twin, when the false twin also finds his match, then too there is a lot of learning that happens. That, the false twin, you get that understanding the false twin deserved that only. And you let them go with happiness. So this letting go is very important. Because we have to understand, all divine feminines need to understand this, that you are the creator of your own reality, and your insecurities and fears create more insecurities and more fear-based realities. Now, in the story of Krishna and Radha, which is where they had a union, from the public perspective, they were doubtful because they thought that they are not technically married. Shri Krishna was born in Mathura, and then he was taken to Gokul, and over there he lived for some time, his childhood years. And then he came back and then he killed his maternal uncle Kans. But in between this process of the gopis falling in love with him, Radha was in love with him. Krishna and Radha loved each other, but all of these gopis also wanted him. But they also wanted the union with the source, because Krishna himself was the source. Their love was pure love. It was free from any desires. It was just total devotion. So I will take you back to that story. And even today, it is said in the mystical world, even today they say that every night there is a place, every night where Krishna and gopis with Radha, they all do this Maharas. And it's not visible to other people, and those who see it, I don't know what happens to them, but there are many stories that those who see it, they witness it, either they lose their mind, or they never leave that place, they're always there, or something or the other. But then, from my perspective, I think if someone sees it, it would be the most beautiful thing to see. There are television shows which have tried to actually show this Maharas, and one of them, I'm going to be using one of those episodes in one of the upcoming vlogs, which is in editing, where I would be talking in detail about this type of a union which Radha and Krishna and all the gopis also had at the same time. So anything that is triggering you in your twin flame journey, anything that triggers you the most, be it the karmic or be it anyone, that is the area that you need to work on. Even if it's related to false twin, say you find out that your false twin is very happy, he's married to someone, he's living a great life, and you feel a pinch, something in your heart. Though you don't want him, because you know that it's a false twin, you are only close and you are only connected to your own DM. But say the news reaches you and you feel very hurt that, how come such a bad person who did all these evil things to me is so happy? It could be because of his happiness, it could be because of his choice or whatever. But you would want to think that why are you getting triggered with that? Maybe your DM doesn't have anyone, he is only focused on you. And if the DM is focused on you, everything is good, then why are you getting triggered with some other person? That's because there's something that needs to be healed, some thoughts, some concept, some belief that makes you uncomfortable. You are not able to let it go. You have grasped it too strongly, too tightly. Love is not just body. So after this situation, for 1 month they all fast, and after the fast, the goddess Shakti, Parvati, appears in front of them. I think they fast for Katyayani Devi, and she gives them this blessing that all of you will be in union with the person you want to be with. And all of them wanted to be with Sri Krishna. And the goddess had given them a date, that on this date, after 3 months, you'll all be together. You'll all have a union. And again, when we say union, this is not like they are all doing Saat Feras or those 7 vows or going to the church and exchanging. That's not the union. Because they were in love with the God himself, Krishna himself, so the union had to be like that. And this is when Radha, in their astral forms, Shakti, Parvati, she has this conversation with Radha that, all of the ladies, they want to marry Sri Krishna. And all of their love is so pure. It is absolutely pure love. It's called bhakti. Complete total disillusion and devotion. So Radha is like, of course, why not? They should all get the love they want. So when Krishna finally comes to meet them on that night, he creates, for every gopi he creates a new Krishna, like a separate Krishna. So all of the gopis, all of them dance with their own Krishna for the whole night. They all dance. That was called the Ras Leela, Maharas. Maharas is the union of the soul with the ultimate source. That is when the soul and the source meet forever and there is no difference in them. That is what union is, that is what singularity is. That type of love is, you see a lot of fakirs, you see a lot of seers. That type of love was seen in Meera. So in this twin flame journey, if you are very attached to the divine masculine and you are very attached to the union, then you are running in the opposite direction of the twin flame union. After all the heartbreaks, after all the wounds and injuries that the divine masculine had given to the divine feminine starts awakening. She awakens to this reality that, I was looking for true love. I found love in this man. I felt that connection. But he is also running away from me, like everything else that has run away from me. Throughout my life, I feel like I am chasing love. I'm running after love. I'm trying to convince everyone. I'm pleasing other people. For some of the divine feminines, they've been with the masculine in the runner-chaser dynamic itself for 10 years. Over decades, they have been playing this runner-chaser dynamic. He comes back, he goes away, he comes back, he goes away. She's always waiting for him, always available for him. It really hurts her soul. After one point in time, it really hurts her soul. It can be anything. In some cases, the divine masculine is also married to someone and the feminine is also married to someone. But they have been with each other for even before the marriage took place. So they have this connection with each other, but in their own respective lives, they're happy. She feels that he could have married me also. Why didn't he marry me? Why did he marry someone else? What was lacking in me? He's ready to have a secret affair with me. He's ready to have all of his kinky time with me. He's ready to, do all of those things with me in privacy. And he's not willing to give me that commitment that he's given to his wife. Then what the hell am I, a doormat? What is my life all about then? Am I his slave? Am I his servant? Am I supposed to be a slave for the rest of my life? Please my master? She doesn't feel that happiness. It really hurts her. And when she moves away from this type of stupidity, this type of runner-chaser dynamic, she finally surrenders to the universe, to God, to source. And when she does the surrender, she is amazed. She is amazed with the result, or something that she is not even imagined, because this type of love is, you cannot, even if I tell you guys, it's like this, it's like that, you cannot understand it till the time you don't feel it. You don't experience it, you cannot understand it. But yeah, I can try my level best and I can tell you that it is actually the most purest feeling ever. And she realizes when she is with the source after the surrender, that's when the radiance and the glow happens, because she is surrendered. Imagine, she has surrendered. She has released every single thing, every single fear, every single trauma, every single desire. She surrendered it all and kept it on the feet of source. Everything is gone, and in that also includes the desire to be in union with the masculine. That is one of the strongest desires she has. The twin flame journey primarily is created in such a way that it makes the feminine understand that she has to accept everything as how it is first. Total or true surrender only happens, this is one of the key stages, as I always say, in the journey. It only happens when you let go of everything, including the desires. In the world of manifestations, in the world of law of attraction, and even when we talk about the chakras, I have also shared this information that the third chakra is connected to intentions. If your third chakra is not in the right place, as in it's blocked or it's not getting the energy, or you're not spending time alone, or you're not sitting still, you're not in solitude, your solitude gives energy to the solar plexus. The more solitude you have, The more independent you have, the more your solar plexus becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. And the sound of the solar plexus is Ram. Now, why am I sharing this information is because a lot of people get confused with the manifestation techniques and with the law of attraction. It speaks about conscious creating, being aware of what you create, being aware of what you're manifesting, having sort of a control in that, having sort of hand in that, being very confident about, certain things that I want it this way or my DM would behave this way. Some of them even say that, keep your specific person like as if it's a doll. It's a lifeless doll. It has no will, nothing whatsoever, and you're supposed to make them do whatever you want them to do. Now that again creates a habit of control. And you don't see other people as other people, rather you see them, somebody who has to behave accordingly, according to your thoughts and feelings. But what the twin flame journey is doing is a bit different. And maybe, who knows, in future I could create, a separate channel where we would be talking about the real law of attraction, what law of attraction really means. Law of attraction is trying to teach people to let go of their desires. But what happens on the contrary is that people get they hold on to the desires too tightly, too strongly. They don't let it go, because how can you let go of a desire when that's the only thing you want? In this channeling session, when the divine masculine comes to that point, when all will be okay if she is with me, that only happens when the divine feminine feels the same thing about the source, that as long as source is with me, everything will be okay, and not just in words, but in actual thought, actual belief. Many people say that, like Sri Krishna did not marry Radha, or Radha got married to someone else. Why is that so? In the twin flame journey also, many of you are here to live the curses or clear the curses, clear the ancestral curses, and that is something that is a part of your template. Your ancestors have also done a lot for you. They have done a lot for you because they took the dark ages. They lived through the dark ages. It's not easy to live in dark ages. Imagine in today's world, when you have certain amount of technology, still you feel like, there are so many women getting repressed, so many children getting abused and raped and molested. There is so much evil, even despite all of this awareness, and there is a goodness, there is a stream of goodness and kindness. Still, all of these horrendous things are happening on the planet, like human trafficking, child trafficking, and what not. There is a lot. In fact, every area has some or the other type of a problem going on. So, but even though there was a curse that Krishna and Radha had to face, in Sri Ram and Sita's life also there was a curse, as Vishnu, which I have already spoken in another channeling, so I won't get into that right now. Maybe I'll do a detailed video as to why Ram and Sita had to live through the curses or live through the separation, which for them was not separation, it was their mission work. What Vishnu and Lakshmi have always done is, as a team, if they ever had to, do something wrong, because even gods have to do something wrong. You can never be extremely righteous and completely on the good side. There are certain steps that gods and goddesses have to take, for other people. Sometimes they have to kill a demon, sometimes they have to do all these, some kind of a move they have to make, which the result is going to be, turning into a curse, or they have to live through a curse, but they take that curse upon themselves so that other people can benefit. Because they don't do it for their personal mission will. So when they come to planet Earth also, they combine the curse with the mission work. They don't say, oh, I got cursed and I have to live. They say, oh, let me make the most out of the curse. That is how positive people work. That is how solution-oriented people work. That, okay, there is a curse. We both have to live through that curse. The curse might mean that we could be in separation, or you could be, living with someone else. Maybe you are married to someone else, or someone kidnaps you. It's going to be really painful. But I also need to do certain things in that particular time frame. So let us let's accept the curse also, and let's combine, because If we are cursed to be away from each other, let's use that time to do something which will benefit people. That is how they have thought always. But the love is so strong that despite the curse or despite whatever, in a materialistic viewpoint, they are living through the curse and they are going through the separation or whatever. But because they are technically always in love with each other, even if they are separate, people only see them together. The same thing happened with Radha and Krishna, and same thing happened with Ram and Sita, the same thing happened with Shiv and Sati. Once any twin flame couple knows how to combine their mission work with, say, some kind of a problem that needs to be healed or cured, then in the true sense they have become a twin flame couple who's in union. Because most important thing to understand is that you're on planet Earth to give your own personal contribution. But there is so much attachment with fun, like having fun, being happy. There are so many addictions, there are so many desires, there are so many wants, so many of these things. I want this, I want that, I want my man to be like this, I want my relationship to be like this. And it's not even real. It is all programmed. They've seen it in the television, they've seen it in the novels, in the movies, someplace or the other. If you technically start applying all of those things, the concepts of romance, the ideas of romance, you would get to understand that it's a big illusion. There is no happiness in it. And that you can only do when you're a good manifestor. For example, you have this feeling when you are saying, 16, 17 years old or whatever, very young, that I want to someday date an actor or a good looking model. And then it happens, by the time you're 20, 21, you see that you're dating an actor or a model. Or maybe you have some other dream like that I want to date the most handsome person. There are some divine feminines who have manifested a lot of things without even realizing. They probably have written it down somewhere when they were very young, and then, after 5 years, 6 years, they see it happening for real. But when it happens, they don't feel the same joy or the excitement. On the contrary, there are way too many problems, For example, they're dating the model. They find out that, all the models are so oriented towards their looks, about their clothes. All the talks are surrounded around looks, or how to get the next ramp walk, how to get the next contract, assignment for work. Nothing wrong in doing your work, nothing wrong, but there is so much validation that, people in this fraternity need. They need a lot of external validation, and one single thing not being right and prim and proper can create big hue and cry. Again, not condescending everyone. Not everyone is the same. There are some very inspiring people there also, because they're again not very, attached with that image or with the perks that come. Because no matter how many perks come, they're all temporary perks. Today somebody is going to be the hotshot model or the hotshot actor or the hotshot industrialist or the hotshot politician or whatever. Some company CEO, a young CEO suddenly comes up and he's like, everyone wants to talk about him. After 10 years, he's also gone and replaced by someone else. There is a replacement for everyone else. The most beautiful actress, who's today the most beautiful actress, after 10 years, she will get replaced. But there are a lot of young ladies out there who, want to get that same amount of fame and adulation and the same amount of, hundreds of people working together to create one dress for her, one look for her, one this for her, that for her. So they get into that. They want to be that person. But only when you actually reach that position or that power. And for some people it can happen halfway only. Like they know that if they're going to pursue this path, they will definitely be the most famous person in the next 5 years or 4 years or 3 years. But they get that realization that I'm not happy doing this. I'm not happy doing this. But some people don't get that realization. They get completely trapped in that Maya, in that illusion. The Maya, the illusion is very strong, but Maya and illusion can only, create or be that strong if the desire is very strong. If you think that, okay, this desire is giving me nothing but pain and I'm not even focusing on my real self, I'm just focusing on the external beauty, everything externalized is, under the focus, then better not I do this, because it's not, giving me contentment or satisfaction. Same is the thing that you should start feeling about the union. Is this chasing the union, chasing the dream of the union, or chasing the divine masculine? Is it giving you any peace or contentment or happiness? No. Yes, you chase true love, but you need to understand what is true love. You want to be, into self-love. You want to be a bit of selfish person. You want to take care of yourself. You want to love who you are, but you need to understand what is the meaning of loving who you are. And who is this who you are that you're talking about? Who are you really? Who are you as a person, as a human being? What is your being all about? Those are the questions that you need to ask yourself, and then you will understand what is the difference between harmonious union, permanent union, real union. What is a union? You will understand it. You will understand it. These are the seeds that are being sowed in your, in your mind's eye. Now let's see who has better fertile soil, who has, good manure, who is going to give the nurturing, who is going to protect it from the wild animals or the climatic changes, and who is going to, be able to make the seed turn into a fruit tree one day. So on that note, I'm going to end this channeling. Thank you so much for being here with me. One love and peace out.